Hello, my name is Joshua. We're doing an interview about the Cold War, and this is my mother. So, how did this affect your life, Mom?
The Cold War affected my life mainly because of East Germany, which was communist occupied, which was occupied by the Russians. And my mother was from East Germany. She escaped to West Germany during World War II. And when we went to Germany to visit, we were not allowed to visit those relatives, nor were they allowed to see us, and we weren't allowed to interact in any way. In fact, my mom told me how they were shot at when they escaped from East Germany. She had scars on her back because before the wall went up, there was barbed wire there, and they had to escape with being shot at under the barbed wire, and she had a big, big scar up her back. And she, was obviously terrified and got up too soon. So that was the biggest influence that the Cold War had in my life. But of course, I do remember Ronald Reagan saying to President Gorbachev, who was the Russian president at the time, the Cold War was between the Russians and the Americans. Tear down the wall. He told Reagan told Gorbachev, tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. And let's make this glasnost. He talked about glasnost, which meant openness. He said, let's see something instead of all this talk. Tear down the wall. Let's see some freedom here for these people and stop the communist hostilities. So that was my biggest remembrance of that part of it, which was Reagan is kind of, you'll love this. He was a kind of a hero of mine. I thought he was one of the greatest presidents.
So, who was at war with each other during the Cold
The
War?
Russians and the United States. And it wasn't, the Cold War simply means it's not a hot war. Hot war is hot hostilities where you have soldiers,
troops fighting.
Troops there fighting, hot war fighting, live ammunition going back and forth.
Okay.
Cold War, there's spies, a lot of spying going on, they hate each other, of course. If there's all the behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, I should have asked this before I began this first question. When did it start? What year and what date?
All I know is it happened after World War II. It began after World War II, which would have been 45, sometime in 1945.
Yeah, it was in 1945.
And then it ended in 1991. It was 46 years long.
Okay.
And it ended 1991 because of primarily what Reagan did and his challenge to the Russians at the time who were in power, and he was in power. So they still say I fully don't believe that the Cold War has really ended because Russia is definitely not our friend. Now, although they say there's no Cold War, Russia funds the Iranians. Russia funds behind the scenes China, and China is, even though we have trade with China, they are not our friend. Iran is not our friend. Russia funds all the people with weapons who are our enemies. So to me, I still think they are quite a danger.
I see. Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much for this interview.